The 5 rainiest places on Earth. If you are not happy about the arrival of autumn due to the fact that months of rain and slush are ahead, do not rush to be sad. Compared to some places on our planet, today we want to tell you about the rainiest corners of our planet, which have become special thanks to the unbridled nature. Mawsynram, India. India can be safely called the rainiest country in the world, because the first 2 lines of the rating on annual precipitation are occupied by its cities. The small highland village of Mawsynram is in the lead. According to the Guinness Book of Records, 11,871 millimeters of precipitation falls there per year, and this is an almost completely flooded 5-story building. Of course, not all of them happen at once, but for comparison, in the rainiest city in Russia, Severodvinsk, there is 10 times less per year. It is worth going to Mawsynram to feel the special mysticism of the fog-shrouded streets, along which strange fish seem to swim. This is how the locals look in special braided hats that save from the rain. The traditional Asian cone-shaped hat is woven in such a way that on one side it covers the head, and on the other the back, and in shape resembles half a pistachio shell. Cherrapunji, India. Literally 10 Kelvin m from the record holder. There is a city that occupies the second line of the rating, Cherrapunji. Precipitation there is only slightly less, 11,777 millimeters per year. The symbol and the main attraction of the city was an unusual invention of local residents: living bridges. The fact is that ordinary bamboo in such a humid climate quickly become unusable. As a result, the Indians came up with the idea of throwing rubber tree roots over rivers and ravines. Rather, first they build a bamboo bridge, along which they then let young adventitious roots. After the roots reach the opposite shore, they grow into the ground. By the time the barbook finally gets wet and becomes unusable, the living crossbars form a solid structure. Such a bridge grows for about 10 years, but then it serves 100. Tunanando, Colombia. The third line of the rainiest places is occupied by the village of Tunanando, which is located in the west of Colombia in the high-altitude region of Chaco. In this small settlement, an average of 11,770 millimeters of water falls annually, and in 1974 an absolute record for our planet was recorded: 26,303 millimeters. Nevertheless, the weather does not scare away, but on the contrary, attracts tourists. The fact is that it rains here mostly at night, and during the day you can walk endlessly through the mountains, drowning in greenery, rafting on rivers, and swimming in waterfalls. The humidity in the region tends to 100%, so the nearest city of Kubdo bears the title of the wettest city in the world. Big God, Hawaii. The next title of the rainiest place on Earth went to a high-altitude peat bog on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Located on the border of Halakala National Park, there is 10,272 millimeters of precipitation per year. Rainwater is evenly distributed along the mountainside, forming a web of thin waterfalls, which tourists come to admire. Emission, China. Close is the top 5 of the rainiest places: abode of clouds in Sichuan province. Mount Emission is the highest of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains of China, and also the wettest region of the country, where 8,169 millimeters of precipitation falls annually. A magnificent temple and a golden statue of Buddha sitting on elephants seem to float above the clouds, and lush green forests stretch down the slope. The surrounding residents call this place the most peaceful on Earth, and the frequent noise of rain only emphasizes the peaceful atmosphere. All these territories, although located far from each other, on different continents, actually geographically have a lot in common. These are high mountains in close proximity to the ocean and the equator. The hot tropical sun evaporates moisture from the ocean surface. The mountains slow down the movement of moist air masses, forcing them to gather in heavy clouds and rain on the slopes. The warm climate and abundance of greenery break the stereotype that rain is dull. On the contrary, here he clearly shows that nature is beautiful in all its manifestations. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe to the channel, and write a comment. See you in the next story.